couple months ago, I uploaded a video to YouTube called Revealing All of Oz Perlman's Secrets, A Complete Guide to Mentalism. That video was generating a huge amount of conversation, especially after Stephen Bartlett uploaded his viral podcast with Oz Perlman. A huge amount of people were finding the video because they wanted to know the truth about mentalism, or the truth about how Oz Perlman has reverse engineered the human mind in order to read our body language at some sort of super high level in order to figure out these obscure pieces of information about us. YouTube put a halt to that growth following a copyright claim against my channel for a 20-second clip that I had included of a gimmicked chalkboard. The video as a result was immediately taken down and I could dispute it, but instead I'm choosing to take this as an opportunity to take on board some of the feedback from that first video and upload it again with some of those changes in mind. One of the first things I want to do actually is discuss some of the tricks that Oz has done in the last 2 months, or some of the tricks before then that people felt like they still wanted a more explicit explanation for. And so we're going to do that right now. But first, I want to speak to those criticisms from people who think that I'm wasting my time, that everyone already knows that it's a trick, and that I'm the equivalent of some loser sitting in the audience of a magician's show assuring everyone that, in fact pleading with everyone, that he has not actually sawn the woman in half. If you're the kind of person who thinks that, shut up. Like, shut up, open your eyes, and look at the comment section on this guy's videos, and you will see tens if not hundreds of thousands of people who have absolutely bought into the lie that, as Oz says, he doesn't read minds, he reads people, that he is analyzing people's body language at some intensely high level. There are countless amount of people who believe that. If you've bought into that lie, then there's something about human beings that you don't know, which is that we are incredibly beautiful and spiritual and mysterious. We are not these sacks of meat that can be reverse engineered. We're not these robotic meat bags that you can just sort of find the algorithm for and then figure out exactly what we're thinking. We aren't that. It's not true. It's simply not true. The human mind is one of the most complex and incredible miracles in the universe, and you should take it seriously. And that leads me to address the group of people who think that I'm a scumbag for undermining how Oz Perlman and mentalists make a living. That by revealing all of these secrets, I'm destroying the job security of a bunch or a whole segment of entertainers and performers. And to you guys I say, if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. We already have a profession called magician, which allows you to practice deceit and illusions and magic tricks in a way that entertains people, but also doesn't mess with their belief systems, because by knowing that you're a magician, they have their guard up to make sure that they understand that what you're doing is ultimately an illusion. It challenges their perception, but it does so in an ethical way.
You shake something, a lot of things can change. You see the jack of spades? Just hold it and shake it. You just hold the jack, right? How it can change? Tell me.
Wait, what the hell?
But there's different stuff.
Bro, am I missing something?
No.
Bro, what am I missing? What am I missing?
When you're a mentalist, you deliberately distance yourself from those magic tricks so that you really can mess with people's belief systems.
And this is where it's not a magic trick, because you saw what I wrote down. Forget about magic tricks, coach. What if I could look a QB in the eyes and tell you exactly who they're going to throw the ball to next? Things that you learn the trick because the thing is the trick.
Yeah.
Right? If I gave it to you, you could do the same trick.
Yeah.
Versus if I gave you 2 books, you could not do the same trick as the hope. You need to, I am the trick.
Yeah.
A magic trick is like I would do something right now, right? But there's no trick.
And when you mess with people's belief systems, you upset me. Sorry, but this is me, upset. This is what I do. I make an annoying 3-hour video showing how you're messing with people's belief systems. Eat it. If you want to do mentalism, that's fine. Just make sure that people know that what you're doing is a magic trick. Don't at every turn and every opportunity try to distance yourself from magic tricks just so that people will let their guard against deception down and more easily swallow your lie. Don't at every turn and every opportunity distance yourself from psychics and mind readers and charlatans in order to gain trust and appear more scientific when you reveal that how you're getting the information is by studying people and their body language. And for goodness sake, don't sell people a book that of course, is not going to tell them how you actually get that information, but instead is going to profit from the fact that they have bought into believing that you are something that you are not. If you're going to be a mentalist, at least be an honest one.
I was heartbroken. I was destroyed.
Yeah.
The fact that a scientist,
Yeah.
now putting this in my terms,
Yeah,
for them,
sure. Yeah.
the fact that a scientist went on TV and lied to me, inconsolable, and embarrassed in front of my parents. Mom and Dad, I was making you do this, and it was all stupid, it was all jive. And I went from, and this is absolutely true, from straight A's in science to flunking. To being directly to my science teacher, I want nothing to do with you people, you lie to people.
Wow.
And my entire school career changed there. And I went from a straight A student to flunking the rest. That was the demarcation.
Wow.
And my hatred for magicians and scientists, who to me were the same.
So we're the same.
Now, you got to see this all as a 12-year-old.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean,
with no background.
And then I met Teller.
Uh-huh.
And Teller simply said to me, he said, you can do magic without lying.
Now that I've got you aware to the ethical issues of mentalism, I want to talk to you about an app called Inject 2 designed by magician Greg Rostami. This app is the secret to how Oz Perlman is able to get things like the word that Valerie Harper whispered to Howard Stern on her deathbed. In fact, this, in combination with a concept called pre-show, is how Oz is able to do things that downright seem impossible. Now, how Inject 2 works, it's an app that does many different things, but the two most important things that it does for Oz is a thing called Google Peek and Google Stats. Google Peek involves you essentially going to a fake Google URL on your target's phone that then loads up on their screen and looks like just an ordinary Google search. Whatever they type into that Google search is going to appear on the magician's phone. So all you really need is some sort of excuse to get the person to Google the info that you're going to later pretend to figure out.
Because he had me type out my own stuff in my own search bar. I wasn't showing him, and I was thinking of the player, and I misspelt it first and put Bryce Hall, and then obviously that was the player I landed on. I don't know, man.
It is crazy, huh?
How did you get that? Of all the countries in the world, did you like hack my phone?
I've hacked your brain.
Now, the problem with Google Peek is that you need to physically have your target's phone in your hand in order to enter the weird URL in order to get to the fake Google page, which you then hand back to them, and they search the term, which then feeds the information directly to your phone. You can get around this, and in fact you need to get around this if you have a target that you don't have physical access to. This would have been the case for Oz when he was doing the trick with Howard Stern. Howard Stern is not in the studio, even though it looks like he is. He's actually in his own home studio. The producers work really well to make it seem like they're all in the same studio. This would also be the case with Piers Morgan, where he did it recently. He would have countless reasons to use this, and of course you can even use it when you have physical access to someone in just a more clean way. And I want to show you how clean and how convincing and how manipulative this mentalism trick is. So what you'll do is you'll ask people to go to Google and you'll tell them that you want to look up, say if we're thinking of a name, that they will need to check to see whether it's a common name. Or in the case of Howard Stern's word, which was curly, Oz will say, hey look, Howard, I want to see if this word is a very common word. I don't want you to tell me what it is. I just want you to go to a thing called Google Stats in order to tell me sort of how common is this word, are people searching it regularly, etc., etc. They'll go to Google and he will tell them to type in Google Stats. When they search Google Stats, it's going to come up as the first result here, google-stats.com. Now, this is a fake website. It's designed to look exactly like Google Trends, which is in fact the legitimate version of what this is. Google Stats is not a thing. It's created by Greg Rostami, it's connected to the Inject 2 app, and it's solely designed so that you come down here into this search term, and Howard Stern can search the word curly, which will then redirect him to a legitimate trends.google.com. He can have some sort of conversation with Oz about, oh yeah, it looks like 70 people searched this in the last month or so. And of course, what actually has happened is that by searching that word, it feeds it directly to Oz Perlman's phone. And then of course, once the cameras start rolling and the podcast gets going, he's got it made. It's just a matter of gift of the gab, of using his showmanship skills in order to sell the effect.
Valerie Harper told you a word that only you and her know, and nobody knew before. And remember this moment, Howard, because you're going to be talking about this for years to come. The word she told you was curly, wasn't it?
Oh, fuck, that's the word. She looked at my hair and said, the word is curly. Wow. What's going on with you? You were a devil worshiper.
Now, this would also work perfectly like he did with Jake Paul, where he says that he wants him to think of some sort of obscure name from his childhood and needs to use Google Stats in order to make sure that it's an uncommon name. So he will tell Jake to go to Google Stats. Jake will go to Google Stats. He'll, search the name, whatever it was. So I was just editing this video and I realized that I should probably tell you that Inject 2 is no longer available for at least the past few months on the Google Play Store. It is available on the Apple App Store, but not on Google Play. The creator, Greg Rostami, has made clear in a private Facebook group for people who've bought the app why that is the case, and it seems that Google is upset at the Google Peek trick. It is upset at the fake Google search page, and they regard it as phishing. Now, phishing is a process that hackers use where they'll send you to fake websites in order for you to put in sensitive information that they obviously use for their own selfish purposes. Now, mentalists, Greg Rostami, Oz Perlman, would certainly argue that they're not using it for illegal purposes because it's all just entertainment. And this kind of leads me to this point about how much are we willing to tolerate under the banner of entertainment? When can we say that yes, something is entertainment, but it's also still crossing an ethical line that we should not be okay with? In my view, this does cross an ethical line, and the reasons for that are twofold. Yes, Oz is absolutely conning people. If that's not clear to you by now, it should be clear by the end of this video. When my 3-hour video is back up, it will certainly be clear to you then. But he is conning people. In fact, I'll put in a little clip here where he admits that he's conning people.
Because what I'm actually doing is conning people for a living, but I'm doing it under the guise of entertainment. Therefore, it is considered acceptable within our social contract.
He says that it's okay because it's for entertainment purposes. The issue with that, of course, is that if someone was conning someone for entertainment purposes, but then right at the end of it was saying, now, hey, would you like to buy my $10,000 body language reading course? We would say that that is a scam, right? Now, what Oz has done that is clever is he's done two things. One, he's brought his audience to a huge level, right? So he's now on podcasts and 60 Minutes. He did TEDx for whatever reason, which makes no sense. He is becoming a very big name in this realm, and there are now hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who believe that he can read body language at the level that he can. What this means then is that they are going to be more inclined to buy a book, which of course, he isn't going to reveal how he's deceiving people in this book, but he is going to kind of use this clever, like lawyer, high verbal IQ, double speak in order to justify the book as not a con, that it's not a scam. The issue, the strategy, right, is because you're selling a $20 or $30 or $40 book and you're doing it to a lot of people, it doesn't have the same kind of weight that a con artist would who's, scamming a grandmother out of her last $10,000. But effectively, for Oz, it's actually much more profitable to do what he's doing. And that's why I think we should condemn what he's doing, because intelligent people who see what Oz is doing and see that he is conning people and he is using this con to accrue resources to himself, I mean, that's exactly what a cancer cell does. A cancer cell convinces all the cells around it that it is something that it's not. It convinces them that it's one of them. It convinces all the surrounding liver cells, hey man, I'm just like you, just doing liver things. And it never ever is. And if the body can't detect that that cancer cell is deceiving all of these other cells around it, well then it will metastasize. it will accrue other cells who will come in and do the same thing, and it will just be this solely self-serving function, right? At that point, eventually the body is going to fail and the cancer ends up killing itself in the process. I am kind of suggesting, right, that when people look at what Oz is doing, when they see that he is conning millions of people and then profiting from it with this kind of clever sort of doublespeak book that he's selling, is that people are going to be inspired to go down that path. And it's not the path that we should be going down. We are a body. Some of us are liver cells, some of us are, neurons, some of us are, the immune system, some of us are, red blood cells. All of us have these like different functions and these different gifts that work together in order to make society work. And a pillar that we need for that is honesty, right? And we need to be on the guard against people who are pretending to do productive things, but actually aren't. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I just thought I would bring that to your attention. By searching that name, can then have a conversation with, and he'll be like, it's a very rare name, Oz, and away you go. Of course, that name has now been fed directly to Oz Pullman's phone.
Everyone's different. I don't have a rule for like how this person thinks or what this person's eyes do. You read people. And then I start to notice patterns. And that's how I kind of do what I do.
Yeah, but brother, there's no pattern or thing going on here with me bringing up a random name from my childhood.
Should we get into that now or later? Because it's going to be hard to unwind once we start doing crazy stuff. But I think the audience
should pay attention to this because he set up a trick earlier and then
Hold up, I want to make sure we say this. I said to you one thing. I said, Jake, you've been, in the public eye since you were what age, would you say?
15.
15, right? So think about this. I said to you, here's what I do. I want you to think of someone. And the first thing, if I'm watching this, is I would have said, he must have looked this up, right? He must be. So I said, think of someone from your past that literally nobody would know.
But that's what I'm saying. There's not a pattern to this. Like you.
And quick question. Did you whisper this to somebody here? Is there a microphone? You whispered it?
No, nobody knows.
Did you write it down anywhere? No.
I put it in my phone because.
Oh, good. Well, hold on. Is it on your phone right now or it's gone?
No, it's gone. I cleared the history.
This guy cleared his browser history. All right. So you literally thought of somebody.
And I hid in a corner while I was typing it.
And what did you do? You checked if it was a popular name?
Yeah.
Another boy that you played cricket with, right? Somebody with an interesting name. I really lean into this, where I always tell you, Piers, I say, make sure this person's name is not run of the mill. If you pick a Michael, I'm going to be so disappointed in you. So I always say, do not do that. And Piers, I'm having you do this. I had you do this. I'm having you visualize this person's face.
I'd say, look up if this is a popular name. Because if you pick Michael, man, I'm going to be disappointed in you right now.
He made me pick a like super random name from my childhood that's very hard.
2 minutes ago, right? I didn't make you anything. I said, think of somebody no one would guess. Here's what you do. Watch my fingers. Jake, 4 letters. Brandon, Brandon, right? Jasper, Jasper. For those listening to audio, all I did was count with my fingers. And you know what you just did? I counted everybody's name, so you counted in your head. You're like, you naturally counted this guy's name, and your eyes went like this. Watch me. Boom, 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 boom. Kid's name is 5 letters, isn't it?
Yeah, it's happening.
You said you didn't, but you did. I'm trusting you. You did.
Wait, but I didn't spell it out fully, though. I just because when you said
is it 5 letters or no?
Yes.
It is, right? Because I watched you count.
Wait, but I didn't spell it out fully, even though.
Oh, you call him by nickname, or you? Well, what do you mean? I'm trying to understand what you're saying by that.
Like I didn't even count in my head when you said Jake. I was just like watching you still. I didn't think of his.
I didn't get it from nowhere. You did. You don't realize.
Well,
it.
But you got it right though. Well, I did it maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm on here for a reason. All right.
Now, what I believe Oz is doing in instances where he's not using inject to, that is, he's not getting them to do a fake Google search or go into this fake Google Stats website, is he'll just give them a rigged notepad and he'll use some banter that goes along the lines of, hey, before we go on the podcast, in order to make sure this all runs smoothly and you guys don't jeopardize me by lying and saying that I actually haven't figured it out correctly, what I want you to do is we'll come up with some predetermined questions beforehand, and what you'll do is here, just take my notepad, you can just write them down onto this piece of paper, tear it out, keep it in your pocket, and that way when I guess the answer on the show, if I'm wrong, you can prove that I'm wrong because you can just take out what you've written on the notepad. Now, I hope you can see how clever that is. And this is, I think, the principle of how Oz is able to fool podcast after podcast.
You like a time traveler or something? Like you
That's what Pat McAfee calls me.
Now,
he
he
goes,
did give me his pen and his little pad to write on.
You know, no pens, no pads, no nothing.
You got him.
Joe,
Yeah.
you got me good, Joe.
So I think this is what he did to Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO. In fact, I would encourage someone like Stephen Bartlett. Like, Stephen, you said that you didn't want to dupe your audience.
Why did you name your book Read Your Mind? And can you read my mind?
So therein lies the dilemma. My whole job is to make you believe that I can read minds, but here is the honest truth. I can't read minds. I wish I could read minds. That's impossible. I read people. Very different skill. This is built on the world of magic, what I do. Misdirection, influence, suggestion. Knowing how people think indicates to me what they think, right? I've spent 3 decades reverse engineering the human mind.
I remember watching the Joe Rogan episode and wondering whether you and Joe Rogan had colluded.
Yep.
To like do because it blew my mind. So my objective today is to be completely honest with my audience.
Please.
And also, if I see you do something, do you want me to say it?
For sure.
Okay, do you actually want me to say it?
I mean, I guess so while I'm here.
Okay, fine. Okay.
I mean, they trust you. Why do people listen to you? Great interview questions, but they trust you. That's how you build an audience.
Yeah, I'd feel bad if I duped them.
And yet the video that you edited in your podcast is absolutely insane.
Let's hold your hand out, please. And hold it as if you were holding one card in your hand. Keep your eyes closed. Do not open them. I'm going to place one card in your hand. Close your fingers and freeze right there. Before you open your eyes, tell us, what was that card?
The 3 of diamonds.
Open your eyes. Take a look.
It is very, very difficult for me to understand how you do that.
It makes it looks like the only possible explanation is that Oz reverse engineered your mind and was able to correctly guess that you were going to choose that 3 of diamonds. I know that that's not the case, and you know that that's not the case, because there 100% would have been something that happened before the show that made it so that when it came to show time, that the 3 of diamonds was always going to be the card that Stephen was going to choose.
So yesterday we had the chance to speak. I wanted to ask a little bit more about the logistics and how we'd be, and I'm in a van. Can I tell people this is the wildest setup ever? I'm not even in the same room as you. We are remote.
That's how this works every single time.
Yo, I got into this place 7-8 minutes ago. Before I walked into this hotel, had we ever met or spoken a word in our life? No. Before I walked into this hotel, Piers, have you and I ever met in our lives face to face prior to this moment? Have we ever met?
No.
Face to face prior to this moment. So yesterday we had the chance to speak. I wanted to ask a little bit more about the logistics.
So when I walked in here, again, we had like 1 minute before I came on air.
Be honest, you did not tell anybody this? You haven't written down nothing? Hold on, stay right there.
And you made me look him up in the green room.
Close your eyes, close your eyes.
And you made me look him up in the green room.
Close your eyes. What did I ask you to do during commercial break?
When you walked into the room, it took you 5 seconds to start playing with our heads. You had Will do a few things. You had me write down a card and a question, and then I actually ripped it up and put it in 2 separate pockets.
Nice.
You're messing with my boy Jackie over here in the corner. Did anybody else?
Everybody.
Get Ozed?
No, nobody's been owed yet.
Yeah.
We're just planting.
You've already done it because you've come in with such a presence. You self-deprecating. I shouldn't be wearing a suit. Haha. This is big dummy. And then all of a sudden you're just coming at us like 7 layers of smoke.
Right.
And it's very like nerve-wracking.
Every single time. There are slight variations, and we'll go to that into the rest of the video. But if you want to understand sort of the very basic fundamentals of what Oz is doing in order to achieve the most impossible effects, this is it. He uses Inject2, which is going to use this fake Google image website, this Google search website, this fake Google Stats website, and he's going to use some sort of rigged device before the show, justify it in a way that seems convincing and seems totally disconnected from the trick, and then when it comes to the show, simply refers to that information in a way that seems smooth and natural.
What was that card?
And away you go.
There's a big like 50-50 me right now where part of me trusts you 0%. And the other part of me trusts you 100%.
110%.
Yeah.
Starting a cult.